You see, most men perish not at the hands of their enemies, but at the hands of those closest to them. They trust, they forgive, they hesitate, and in that hesitation, they fall. The problem we shall solve tonight is simple. How can you master power when emotions enslave you? And the answer: cold blood. Let me ask you a question. What has destroyed more kings, leaders, and men of power, their enemies or their emotions? History whispers the answer, and it is merciless. The downfall of many great rulers did not come from the sword of a rival, but from the softness of their own hearts. This is why coldness, detachment from emotion, is not a luxury but a necessity for survival and command. Imagine a man who governs not with reason but with affection. Every plea moves him, every tear weakens him, every smile deceives him. He is like a captain steering a ship through a storm with no compass, guided only by the changing winds of emotion. What happens? The waves consume him. A ruler, a leader, even a father in his household must see clearly, and clarity is born from coldness, not from sentiment. When you allow emotions to dictate your choices, you give others control over your fate. Your compassion becomes a weapon in the hands of those who know how to wield it. A beggar exploits your pity. A traitor exploits your forgiveness. A rival exploits your loyalty. To remain warm is to remain vulnerable. To remain cold is to become untouchable. Do you understand? To lead with your heart is to invite ruin, but to lead with cold calculation is to master fate itself. Do not misunderstand me. I do not speak of cruelty for its own sake. Cruelty is wasteful unless it serves purpose. Coldness is not brutality, it is discipline. It is the ability to act when your heart screams against you, the strength to strike when affection urges you to wait. A prince who cannot silence his emotions will soon find his crown resting on another's head. A man who cannot still his heart will soon find his world governed by others. Consider this: when a ruler is faced with rebellion, does he hesitate because the rebels were once his allies? Does he forgive, hoping gratitude will bind them back to him? If he does, he signs his own death warrant. A man who spares his enemies because he feels compassion ensures that tomorrow those same enemies will return, sharper and more dangerous than before. Coldness means you act not according to how you feel, but according to what must be done. And here lies the greatest truth. Most men believe that warmth earns loyalty, that kindness secures love, that affection buys safety. But what does history reveal? That love fades the moment self-interest appears. That loyalty breaks the moment fear is absent. That kindness is remembered only until opportunity for betrayal arises. Coldness strips away these illusions. It allows you to see men for what they are, not what you wish them to be. The cold man sees reality naked, without the garments of sentiment. It is tempting to believe that warmth makes us human, but what is a human without survival? What is love if it delivers you into ruin? To govern yourself, to govern others, you must cultivate a mind that stands apart from fleeting passions. Your decisions must be forged in iron, not in tears. The heart trembles at sacrifice, but the cold mind sees necessity. The heart hesitates, the mind commands, and in this command lies the secret of enduring power. Tell me, who can strike you the deepest? Who can wound you where no enemy's blade could ever reach? It is not the stranger on the battlefield, nor the rival across the throne. No, it is the hand of those you call your own, the ones who share your blood, your table, your bed. The cruel truth is this: our loved ones are the first and greatest weakness that can be used against us. A man believes his family is his fortress, his friends his shield, his lover his sanctuary. Yet history proves the opposite. Kings have been betrayed by their brothers, emperors poisoned by their wives, generals delivered to the enemy by their most trusted companions. Why? Because love creates expectations, and expectations are the cracks where treachery seeps in. A ruler blinded by affection does not see ambition rising in the eyes of his kin. A husband who drowns in passion does not notice the dagger being sharpened in the night. A leader who surrounds himself with friends forgets that friendship dies the moment profit outweighs loyalty. Think carefully on this. An enemy is predictable. You know he will strike when he finds the chance. But loved ones are unpredictable because you expect them to protect you, not destroy you. That expectation becomes your weakness. You hesitate to punish them, you hesitate to suspect them, and hesitation is the door through which death walks in. The man who refuses to see his loved ones as potential rivals becomes a lamb fattened for slaughter. And do you know why it is so dangerous? Because enemies must work to earn your trust before they can harm you. But your family, your friends, your lover, they are already within your walls. They already know your secrets, your fears, your habits. They know where you are strong, but more importantly, they know where you are weak. And when ambition whispers to them, when envy burns in their hearts, they will not strike as strangers. They will strike as those closest to you, ensuring the wound cuts deeper than any blade from afar. Consider the Roman emperors who were toppled not by foreign armies, but by their own guards. Their wives, their children. Consider princes who gave their brothers authority, only to be overthrown by those very brothers. Love blinds. Love convinces us that those closest to us are incapable of treachery. Yet the pages of history are soaked with the blood of men who trusted their kin more than their caution. And here lies the cruelest deception of all. The more you love, the easier you are to control. What enemy cannot be resisted by a man who thinks coldly? But what if that same enemy threatens the life of your child, or whispers lies into the ear of your lover? Suddenly, the strongest ruler crumbles, begging, pleading, sacrificing his throne for affection. This is why the wise man guards his heart, not only against his enemies, but against those he cherishes most. The truth you must swallow is bitter. Affection is a chain, and every chain can be pulled by another's hand. The moment your happiness rests in the hands of another, you are no longer master. You are slave. To rise above betrayal, you must see loved ones not as untouchable, but as human beings like all others, capable of envy, capable of greed, capable of treachery. To ignore this is to invite your own ruin, and to be devoured not by the wolf outside your gates, but by the lamb resting at your side. Men will promise you loyalty, they will swear eternal love, they will bow with words of devotion. But understand this affection is a flame, and flames burn bright for a moment before they fade into smoke. Fear, however, is stone. It does not flicker, it does not bend, it endures. The wise ruler, the strong man, the one who wishes to command rather than plead, must always choose fear over affection. Love is given freely, but it is taken back just as freely. A subject loves his ruler while he is fed, while his lands prosper, while his belly is full. But the moment hardship comes, the moment scarcity darkens the fields, that love evaporates. Love is as fragile as a glass goblet. It shines beautifully in the sunlight, but the smallest crack and it shatters in your hand. Fear, on the other hand, is iron. Men may despise you, they may curse you in the shadows, but they will not dare act against you if they tremble at the thought of your reprisal. Ask yourself this, which is more secure: a man who is loved today but abandoned tomorrow, or a man who is feared today and obeyed tomorrow? The answer is cruel, but it is also clear. A ruler who relies on love is like a farmer who sows seeds in barren soil, hoping, waiting, praying for fruit that may never come. But a ruler who relies on fear is like a blacksmith who forges his weapons from steel, hard, unyielding, dependable in every strike. Even in personal ties, the same law governs. A friend who loves you may betray you if a greater love tempts him elsewhere. A wife who loves you may falter when her affection cools or when her ambition grows. But a man or woman who fears you cannot so easily act against you. Love binds loosely. Fear binds tightly. Love appeals to emotion, fear appeals to survival, and survival is the strongest instinct of all. History itself is carved with the evidence of this truth. Think of rulers who sought to be adored, who gave gifts, who pardoned their enemies, who softened their rule in the hope of winning hearts. Where are they now? Forgotten, buried, devoured by those very people they tried to please. Then think of those who ruled with iron, whose names still echo centuries later. It is not affection that immortalizes rulers. It is the dread they inspired, the obedience they commanded, the legacy of fear that even death could not erase. Fear is also more honest than love. Love can be faked, painted on the face with smiles, spoken with honeyed words while daggers hide behind the back. Fear cannot be faked. You cannot pretend to tremble before power. You either do or you do not. That is why fear is the truest bond between ruler and subject, leader and follower. It removes masks. It strips away illusion. Love deceives, fear reveals. And let us be clear, fear does not mean mindless cruelty. The ruler who is reckless in cruelty is despised, and hatred too can breed rebellion. No, the wise man inspires just enough fear to command obedience, to make men think twice before acting against him, to ensure their loyalty is not a choice but a necessity. Love can persuade men, but fear compels them. Persuasion is fragile, compulsion is unbreakable. That is why the balance always favors fear. When a man weighs in his heart whether to serve or to betray, whether to obey or to defy, love speaks softly, but fear roars, and in the end, men always choose the voice they cannot ignore. Affection fades with hunger, with temptation, with time itself, but fear it endures as long as your strength endures, as long as your power casts its shadow over those who serve you. That is why love is fleeting, but fear is eternal. Power does not belong to the merciful, it does not bow to the kind-hearted. It belongs to those who are willing to see life as it truly is. A battlefield where sentiment is a weakness, hesitation is a death sentence, and cold-blooded calculation is the only true weapon. A man who wishes to survive, let alone to rule, must learn to sharpen his mind like a blade and to strike not when his heart wishes, but when the moment demands it. Survival itself is an art, and it is not painted with colors of compassion, but with the steel, gray hues of necessity. To survive in a world of ambition, betrayal, and deceit, you must become a strategist who feels nothing when he sacrifices, who wavers not when he must betray, who trembles not when blood must be spilled. Most men cling to morality, to affection, to mercy, but these are luxuries that the graveyard holds in abundance. The man who rises above them, who can strip his choices down to raw necessity, that man is the one who survives. Look around you. Every institution, every family, every kingdom is held together not by love, but by a cold logic of interest. Alliances are forged not because men care for one another, but because it serves their purpose. Friendships are maintained not because affection never dies, but because both parties find advantage in it. When advantage disappears, so too does the friendship. Do you see now why cold-blooded calculation is survival itself? Because he who calculates survives when love fails, when loyalty crumbles, when mercy delivers only ruin. Consider the wolf among sheep. The wolf is hated, feared, despised by the flock, yet he survives while the sheep, docile and trusting, perish one after another. The wolf lives because he acts with instinct and necessity, not with compassion for his prey. The man who survives is not the one who pleases the many, but the one who sees the world as it is and seizes opportunity without hesitation. Cold-blooded strategy makes you the wolf, not the sheep, and in a world such as ours, there is no safety in being prey. And what is strategy if not the art of anticipating betrayal before it comes? To look at every ally and see not only their usefulness, but their potential threat. To study every friend, not only for their loyalty, but for their ambition, to weigh every choice not in the scale of morality, but in the balance of power. A cold-blooded man prepares for treachery long before treachery arrives. He does not ask, "Will I be betrayed?" He asks instead, "When will the betrayal come, and am I ready to answer it?" This readiness is survival, and only the calculating man possesses it. Cold-blooded survival also means knowing when to strike first. The sentimental man waits, hoping the storm will pass. The ruthless man acts before the storm breaks, ensuring his enemies never have the chance to raise their swords. This is the cruel beauty of strategy. Hesitation belongs to the weak. Preemption belongs to the strong. History remembers those who seized the moment, not those who sat idle, waiting for kindness to save them. And let us not mistake this approach for villainy. To be cold-blooded is not to be mindlessly cruel. It is to act with reason where others act with weakness. It is to ensure that your survival is never left in the hands of another. It is to command respect even in silence, to enforce loyalty even in absence, to hold power even when affection has fled. In the game of power, sentiment is an anchor that drags men to the depths. But calculation is the wind that fills the sails of those who rise above the storm. To master survival, you must become untouchable, and to become untouchable, you must strip away the illusions that bind ordinary men. See clearly, act decisively, strike without hesitation. In this cold-blooded clarity lies the only true path to power, the only shield against betrayal, and the only guarantee that your name will not vanish like the countless others who mistook mercy for strength, affection for loyalty, and love for survival. You have now seen the truth unveiled. Stripped of illusion, spoken without mercy, men fall not because they lack strength, but because they lack coldness. They are destroyed not by enemies alone, but by their own hearts, by their own attachments, by their foolish desire to be loved when fear would have secured them. To survive, rule, to command respect that does not vanish with the shifting winds of fortune, you must cultivate blood that runs cold. The necessity of coldness, the danger of loved ones, the superiority of fear, and the art of ruthless calculation. These are not lessons of cruelty, but of clarity. They are the iron laws that history has carved into stone, the laws that separate those who rise above mankind from those who are buried by it. So remember, if you wish to endure in this world of betrayal and ambition, you must not cling to affection, you must not bend to weakness, you must not hesitate when survival demands sacrifice. Power belongs not to the warm-hearted, but to those who have mastered the chill of necessity. Only the cold-blooded endure.